Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for keeping the hearing open so that I can make it here. I appreciate it. Each of our services claims to build the best and most capable leaders within the world's greatest fighting force, capable of thinking critically, navigating the fog of war, and leading diverse teams in times of uncertainty. But how can the department train leaders to make decisions for themselves if it is actively banning books from service academies and micromanaging their access to information? This administration's obsession with removing diversity within the force has now expanded into attacking diversity of thought. Censorship does not produce stronger leaders, it produces brittle ones. Suppressing ideas is not a sign of might, it is an expression of fear. And if we allow fear to drive policy, we fail not only our cadets and service members seeking to develop themselves as leaders, but also the American people who count on them to lead with wisdom and critical thinking. For each witness, do you believe our future commanders will be fully prepared to navigate the complexity of tomorrow's war-fighting environment if we continue to micromanage their exposure to the world and different perspectives? Should we be limiting their perspectives and banning books in our academies? Would that make them better leaders?
Oh, no, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator, I'm generally familiar with the issue you're talking about, but I've not seen specifically the issues at the Naval Academy, nor have I talked to Admiral Davis about that. What I can tell you, I agree with you. I believe the Naval Academy should have everything they need to create future naval officers. Within my domain, I am certain that we have everything we need to make sure every sailor is qualified to do their job.
Yes, ma'am. Nice to see you. I'm a proud graduate at one of those service academies, and
I could never make it in. It's okay. I'm an ROTC guy.
Barely. But it matters to us in the sense we take 25% of that class, of that Naval Academy class that comes into the Marine Corps, and we get eye-watering talent. And so just inspiring, attracting our top young Americans to attend that school is important to us, and I just wanted to, put a plug for, how important that school is, how much it means to us.
Thank you. General Miller?
Yes, ma'am. I would concur. I don't know exactly what they're doing at USAFA as far as the libraries and going through the curriculum, but I do know that we have the best airmen, and a large portion of them come from the academy. And I think that we need to make sure that we continue to draw, similar to the Marines and Navy, the best individuals from the United States.
But they need to be exposed to all elements of thought, and we should not be banning books in our training of our service members.
I think they should definitely be, they should have all trains of thought. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Kelly?
Ma'am, I agree with your point, absolutely.
Thank you. I do think that we owe service members protection from moral injury by empowering them with the training to operate in complex wartime environments with life or death decisions for their brothers and sisters in arms, as well as civilians who find themselves caught in the middle. But I heard some concerning things from the General Counsel nominee yesterday regarding this administration's commitment to the law of armed conflict. Will each of you commit to ensuring that service members receive the appropriate training and education on the law of armed conflict?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator, yes, ma'am.
Senator, this is key to our warfighting effectiveness, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Agree, ma'am.
That is why we're the greatest fighting force on the face of the earth. We set the standards for the rest of the world. And I'd like now to pivot to the Indo-Pacific, and I'd like to shift your attention specifically to the current makeup of our active, reserve, and guard forces, and whether our forces are prepared for the reality of fighting and sustaining large-scale conflict in the Indo-Pacific region. For each of you, do you believe your service currently has the force structure and personnel necessary to meet the demands of such a fight in the Indo-Pacific? And if not, given our current personnel projections and plans, are you confident your service will be prepared to execute large-scale mobilization and sustain power projection across contested domains? And what can this committee do to ensure you are fully supported? Because I will tell you, it is a bipartisan issue. We have talked about this in a bipartisan way, and I want to make sure you have the ability. I think probably the Army and the Marines will be most on this, Navy obviously as well, but can we sustain the fight where we are right now, and what kind of support do you need?
Thanks, Senator. Yes, we can, but I'm not satisfied. I don't think we're satisfied that we need to continue to transform to prepare for that even more. And as you know firsthand, the more readiness, the better we're going to be. We have to transform not just our modernization, our force, but how we do things in large-scale combat operations. So when our chief says, hey, transformation and contact or continuous transformation, that's what we're doing. We can't rest on our laurels. We can't say, hey, we won the last war, we're good. We have to continue to look and adapt, because as we see in the battlefields across the globe, things are changing faster than our budget cycle. and faster than how we can acquire equipment through acquisition. So we have to be faster. So we can't say, hey, we're ready, we're good, stop. No, we actually need to keep getting more ready, keep adapting, and I think your support, absolutely with your oversight, but also with the proper appropriations and flexible funding so that when something changes, like we're talking about with UAS, counter UAS, and that technology that is changing so frequently inside that budget cycle, we've got to be able to adjust and not get consumed by buying this one thing that was good for that time and is no longer, and it's obsolete. So that's what I would say we need help with.
Thank you.
Senator, thanks for the question. I believe in our operators. I'm certain we'll get the mission done. That being said, the Navy is on a journey. One of our lines of effort is to make sure that we're very much aligned within our maritime operations centers. We want to fight from those operations centers in the future. There's a lot of things going on here with hardware, software, people. From my portfolio, I'm sure I'll need more people in those specific skill sets when it comes to the IW community, the cryptologic community, the intel community, the space community. So we're on a growth profile in those areas. Additionally, I know working closely with the Chief of Navy Reserve, Admiral LaCour, they are organized around the fight from the mock concept. So the training that they do is so they're able to fight, fall in on those mocks when trouble is brewing, so they can support the fight as well. So we're modernizing the entire approach towards a fight from the mock, and we just look forward to continue to working with this community to get that done.
Senator, thanks very much. The Indo-Pacific theater is one of the most challenging theaters. In my last job before this role, commanding aviators, the distances at which we may need to fight in that theater makes it very difficult with the geographical dispersion. As you know, 6 years ago, we started down this path with General Berger and now General Smith on force design. Force design was clearly meant to grow the force to the right type of Marine, right skill set, divest to invest. Now we're into the invest phase where we have the right numbers of Marines, capacity and capability. We don't have the capacity we need. So we are on a plan, so to your question, I really appreciate that, is to grow our end strength, and we have a plan to get there, but it's quite frankly not fast enough. And so any help that you can provide us in funding really for that end strength, we would applaud. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, we too are shifting to the Pacific. The tyranny of distance is a challenge for us because we have tankers and where we're going to put them and how we're going to fight from there. So we are doing large-scale exercises to make sure that we're ready. But we too need to increase our end strength probably, and then we just have to have the right kit forward, and so that's our challenge right now.
If we're going up against a PRC, it's not going to be dominating the skies. We're going to have to fight our way in and fight our way out. Same with the surface warfare.
Yes, ma'am.
Senator, I'd just like to add that from the space perspective, the Indo-PACOM fight is absolutely enabled by the space capabilities that our warfighters need. So the ability for this service that is now 5 years old to continue to grow with the support of this committee is going to be very critical because the space-enabling warfighter has got to be part of what we deliver for the fight.
Thank you. You've been incredibly generous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.